range of the call.
I mean, Satanic needs more help in these fights, though, because he can't lifesteal. You're getting hit from this Scotty. You cannot turn in lifesteal with your Satanic. It's also getting robbed, of course. From the Krullas, but my goodness, Spirit looking to potentially close this one out.
They're going again.
Looking for another fight.
They know that the buyback situation, it's not in a great spot for Vision. They can find a big catch. They can put an end to this game, Spirit. No one.
Careful. Such tense moments. These next moments for Vision are everything. Collapse.
Giving some praise there to No One for those quick reactions.
What an absolutely insane game so far here.
I mean, so in these team fights, what do you do if you're Vision? Is it sort of just a case then for Satanic to sort of, if he sees the Metamorphosis come out, you have to just get out completely? Can you actually fight into your Toro when he has the Metamorphosis up?
It's hard to say exactly. This TB is something, it's a force to be reckoned with. They don't really have the best answers. Even the kiting factor isn't there. Satanic, the matchup in general, right? TB versus SF, it's heavily favored for TB once it starts getting to these points because he just has that range advantage. So I guess just all-inning, right? They have to close the gap and fully all-in for Yatoro and just somehow try to bring him down with that, but it's easier said than done. Especially now that these levels are starting to come in for him. He's got extra saving tools with the Satanic himself.
And that Yatoro might just be able to get himself another Aegis here, ready for the push. It's the third Roshan. There's going to be that Refresher Shard on top of that.
And always too, right? Yatoro, he can lifesteal in the fights. He can be able to stand his ground. There isn't that mitigation in the same type of factor. He also has a hard save with the Tusk potentially. He also has a Vlad's too. Multiple different ways Spirit have to bail him out now at this point.
To get that chance, of course, with the way the draft played out, you know,
he did get
SF's taken early. They get to think through the whole draft, what carry-to-carry matchup they want to play with. And, you know, if anyone's going to be the master at the SF and know exactly what the SF's going to hate playing into, it's going to be Yatoro. And we're seeing that matchup get to that point now this game. The sort of weakness that might have been there because they had to make this pivot, put the Nature's Prophet mid, and go for this greedier route, they've gotten completely through that.
Yeah, I mean, the itemization from Laurel is genius, right? Just the Aghanims, and we don't see it as much anymore. It is absolutely making that difference to protect, hold targets in place. If he had gone just straight right-click build, right, they could have lost these mid-game team fights super hard. The game could have just completely collapsed for them there, so kind of being everything for them.
Talking about Aghanims,
Full item.
Aghanims picked up for Yatoro.
Is that the blessing? It is the full blessing, so he's got it at use immediately.
He's ready to go all in. Has that Aegis, of course, so second life is there and knows that there's going to be this time. They're going to want to do something within the next 2 minutes or so whilst these 3 buybacks are still unavailable for Vision.
It's just hard to see how they kill Yatoro at this point. Even through the 1 life, as we saw in that top fight, they have so many ways to protect. They even have that cheese, of course, too, for the next fight that he can just, you know, you can pass it over to him as well.
Just another very, very low death game for Yatoro. Only dying the once.
He has played this game absolutely flawless.
I mean, pretty much the series as well, right? Even in the loss, had a very impressive scoreline on his Shadow Fiend.
Vision, you can tell they're feeling that pressure now. Satanic has yet to really grow in the next item.
One failed defense away from losing the game.
Spirit, their pivot and adaptation in this game has been beautiful to watch. Vision has taken some good fights, but now,
I mean, this
how are they going to
defense,
take this fight?
Who's going to be the one to go first? Get rid of the banner. Satanic's got to be careful when Yatoro starts to get his hands on him like this.
Hard to hit him.
A lot of damage brings him down to half HP. People see no one trying to jump the backlines, but the BKB's out for collapse. Get the call as well on towards Notice. Notice has the BKB with the punch up there. Yatoro bringing in the damage. Notice trapped by the shards. Notice he's gone. Buyback still on cooldown for a minute and a half.
It's just so hard for them to execute the fight. They roll in, they try anything there, but they just can't collapse. He's just too fast.
I mean, who is going to touch Yatoro? Who's going to go for the jump? Nobody can get anywhere close to him right now as he's taken away the rest of the base. Collapse will get the call. There'll be the rebound to try and bail no one out of this. The shield crash back in. Fear catches him off to the side. No one's out. Also without the buyback. It's over. GG is called. Team Spirit take game 3.
that fight in mid, where Yotaro gets this angle, they know that Notice is going for this play on bottom, and he just sandwiches on top of Satanic. Satanic couldn't attack. I think these last 2 fights, he just has to spend the entire time trying to run away from this Terrorblade, and he just can't. That's this matchup. It gets to this point. You can't get close to him. You can't get away from him. You're getting ripped to shreds. Yotaro, absolutely beast performance from him.
I mean, we did to hear concerns about the fact that the Terrorblade was left in the draft. Vision, they felt that if it was going to come in and the switch-up had to happen with the Nature's Prophet going mid, that they'd have the counter, they'd have the advantage in the team fights. They just couldn't find enough of them. The game stagnated, slowed down, and Spirit are able to close it up. 2-1 right now in this grand finals here at the International for Spirit.
It is exactly what Lal was talking about in one of his winners interviews yesterday, where he said, we can play late game. We can play it fast. We can play essentially whatever we want to be able to draft to themselves. And this time around, it really shows because we favored them each and every game into the laning phase and out of it. But this time around, it felt like, well, they're going to have more of a competition. At the end of the day, Quinn, they very clearly live up to that and surpass it.
Yeah, I think this is more what traditional Spirit compared to, I think the past couple of games, like you said, have been very much about early tempo, about winning lanes, a very different look that's more suited to their new supports. But this game was classic Spirit. They've got the late game. They know they've got the late game. They've got the carry matchup, and they're chilling. They're vibing. They're taking incredibly clutch fights and outplaying people and just biding their time because the clock is ticking. Vision can hear it in their ear, but they can't do anything about it.
They're just amazing to watch at TI. I mean, their ability to recognize what they need to do to win games has been so consistent throughout the years, but this time around it feels like they have the play to back up the vision in their mind. In this game, it was just about which carry could hit other people for longer, which team could enable the other carry to hit people for longer, and Team Spirit were able to isolate Satanic in so many of these fights, get the correct jump, and make it so that he couldn't stand his ground as SF and chunk into Team Spirit.
Yeah, and eventually the game gets to the point where we see when Yotaro is making the final push on the high ground, he is just standing there and SF is hitting him and his HP bar isn't moving because all the damage on Team Vision's side is physical and he just doesn't take physical damage. It's one of TB's best traits. He has incredible armor and they abuse it to its full extent in this series.
I mean, this is that moment that you're talking about where it feels like maybe Spirit have overstepped a little bit by going straight for that throne, which is a call I love to see. I feel like it's incredibly bold, especially in the grand finals, and the TB's just standing there. He does not care at all whatever this slot is dishing
He hit
out.
him 15 times and took 10 damage. Like this
10's generous.
Yeah, if that. Like the Heroes late game is completely psychotic in games like this, and I think Vision, it's a weakness that it seems Spirit are exposing, that Vision, they don't like it when the enemy team has the late game. They are not doing well enough in lanes against Spirit compared to how they are against other teams. Spirit is surviving that early game. They're getting off to a decent enough start. The Vision can't run them over. And then if Spirit's chilling with the late game, then we've got some big problems.
I also feel like Puppey talks about like the team fight superiority that they're going to have as the game progresses, but Varl itemized around it, right? He bought the Aghanims on the Nature's Prophet. It gives you this huge AoE route on everything that the ulti hits. And it's just smart decisions like this that, you know, when Spirit are doing well, you can see why. They can overcome this, what they're lacking with their draft through items. They're finding ways to like make things come together even when they don't have those natural tools in the heroes.
I'm still just so impressed with what was happening in the carry-to-carry matchup because we love to see what Yotaro can bring in a TI finals. For Satanic, it's his first time, and he has been the shining light time and time again in every game for Vision. This time around, they wanted to put the same faith in there, and for the earlier part of it, it really was that narrative. It really was that story, and so just getting essentially this free Terrorblade game and getting to have Yotaro on something so comfortable blows my mind as to how he performs.
I mean, I forgot the heroes in the pool, but I think even more importantly now, Spirit has a huge edge mentally over Team Vision, because Team Vision, they've been ran over in game 1, they almost got ran over in game 2, and now they got carry matchup in the last pick. So when you go into that last pick, the amount of options that you have to consider, because I think up until the TB, Spirit were the ones that had to play tempo. Spirit were the ones that had to play fast. But with the TB, they completely flipped the draft, and they put themselves in a late game position, and there's a lot of heroes that you need to consider now for your bans.
Yeah, Yotaro's been exceptional, but we can see Not Me be pulled up on the graphic right now, and he played a really great game too. That high ground defense that Team Spirit had versus Team Vision when they got that Aegis and they were trying to pressure really early on, there was a 3-man Curse Crown that they lost to. Like, they were able to disengage with the Marcy rebound, but a lot of this game also just added up to the Spirits on support the supports on Spirit being able to control Team Vision. Whereas if you look at Team Vision supports, between an Enchantress and a Marcy, there really isn't that much control. So there was less maneuverability to work around in the team fights. There was less consistency in the high ground pushes.
I fully agree with that. I heard Puppy mention in the coach interview after game 2 that he thinks they were outdrafted in game 1 and 2. Well, I'd extend that to say they got outdrafted in game 3 as well. I think Miposhka is dancing circles around them, and I think that is a big reason why the series has felt like Spirit is dominating, and Vision did win the game too, but overall it's felt Spirit's side, and I think a lot of that is due to the prep, is due to the situations they're setting themselves up in. They've got comfort, they've got late game, and it just feels like it's games that Spirit is very happy with.
To be fair, there were moments of crowd pleasing with that Marcy. I know that when we look at the support duos, they're not really comparable in Sania, but again, it's just massive praise to be able to come out in the grand final, see what you think is going to be on paper a fantastic matchup, and pick an uncontested hero here. Almost works out for them. There are a lot of clutch plays from the Marcy still.
I mean, it is a lane class hero, but I think Puppy didn't want to say it, but almost all of his heroes are banned out. When I looked at the bans, there was a Hoodwink, and Hoodwink is not traditionally a hero that he plays, so I feel like he didn't want to go for that. He rather wanted the comfort. It's a TI final pressure. He felt like, I want to play something I know how to play. And it added to their concept, right, of adding damage to the SF. It gives him more tools.
We were seeing the uncontested heroes here, and we had 2 more on it when we started the day, but both the Disruptor and the Marcy now being picked up. It always feels like they're all free game right now, Gwen. You could pick anything for yourself.
Yeah, when you get into that zone, that TI zone of creativity, you're looking for what makes sense right now. You don't care about the meta. TI Grand Finals is its own meta. You throw everything else out the window, it's trash. We have what we have now, and that's all that matters.
And on the topic of the Marcy, she was dodged. Like, there was this idea that they wanted to Marcy Slardar and bully the enemy carry, but they ended up dodging that matchup because of the Tusk protection. So they just read into it on Team Spirit.
I love it. The reading is there. The balance is there in draft as well. But TI just keeps giving, whether it's new heroes or whether it's special content pieces coming out for our home crowd here in Shanghai.
折腾了这么久，我终于找到你了。以你的天赋和技巧，世上最会刷钱之人。够了，不要再刷了！Burning 大师，
不要再刷了，大老远赶来，让我看看你那可怜的经济吧。天哥，你觉得我是个严厉的师傅吗？那你根本不知道接下来你要面对的是什么。我已经把你那可怜的矿子清完了，再给我来10波远古，天亮之前再给我拿30波眼。徒儿近日大有长进，但我只能教你打钱之道。要真正超凡入圣，你必须领悟成为强者所需的一切。为此，你必须踏入刀塔江湖。江湖路远，刀剑无眼，你得学会征服痛苦。
我的第一位大师非常的严格，他教会了我怎么样补刀，怎么样刷钱。但是这仅仅是我旅途的开始，我现在准备好去拜见我的第2位大师了。DY 大师。感谢你教了我这么多。
当然，不用客气。倒下的敌人是不会反抗你的。黑暗行者。
DY 大师，我随您修炼已有一段时日了，是时候接受一些考验了吧
？No， 还没有到正确的时机。大地之力。
DY 大师，我已经跟随您修炼20多天了，我们到底什么时候才能开启这个悟道之门啊？
不，你还有很多东西可以学。吃桃子可以回血，然后我可以过拆，拆掉你的藤甲，然后用酒，就是这些牌有很多东西都要学。住手！这扇门后藏着世界上最恐怖的东西，它力大无穷，知道如何面对它，就等于知道如何面对世界上最大的痛苦。
世间最大的痛苦？
你真的觉得你准备好了吗？
我准备好了。
那就去面对痛苦魔方吧。
啊？那是奥利，他的头好方啊！
你什么意思？
你要小心啊，我的弟子。你每一次攻心，他都会10倍奉还。但若你能驾驭这种反击，你的力量就会随之增长。如果你能受得了他一直送，或许你还能跟他并肩作战。
我都说我输了，你还说几遍？我问你。
哦
啊！
哦
啊！
哦！
学会跟他正面交锋吧，天哥。当他再也伤不到你时，你就能迎接下一个挑战了。
这就是为什么某某某大哥总是去别的队伍。
你什么意思？
而且他从来没有跟你组过队哦，并且他将永远不会和你一起打。我的第2位大师们，有点奇怪，但是他们教会了我如何在精神上战胜敌人。接下来，我将要去拜访我的第3位大师，让我的身体变得更强壮。
把这个板当做1塔，快点给我打爆它！
是萨姆的大师，
叫我超哥，再加1块板。
说实话，你硬推这个1塔没什么用。
他说的是真的吗，超哥大师？
再说一次，我的名字叫路遥，再加1块。
你这个推完这个1塔，你也不好打钱，有必要吗？
别理他，他有毛病。还有你，太弱了，要想变强。你就给我每天早睡早起，多晒太阳。
太阳？真的假的？这太阳到底有什么用啊？装太阳能板了，晒太阳能充电，还是说你是什么植物人或者什么草系宝可梦能光合作用啊？啊？你是练武还是修仙啊？你搞个火堆呗。你现在能懂我说太阳是什么意思了吗？啊？就是你跟太阳很熟吗？而且你是去过太阳，还是说那边有你兄弟啊？啊？
你到底在说什么鬼啊？
谢谢你，路遥大师。
等等，叫我 maybe。不过为师确实替你感到骄傲，你确实学到了真东西啊！
真东西，不是真东西，真东西，真学到真东西了。学到啥了呀？要我看不如。
如今，我想我终于准备好了，去拜见那位尊师泰斗。
站住！若你想进入万世之师的密室，你必须选出正确的钥匙。
我们现在不要说这些好吗？真是的，让开！在下天哥前来拜会宗师泰斗，弟子苦练多时，恳请尊师指点。
Oh, me? No, that's.
哎呀，你
米大师看到了你的进步。哈哈哈哈哈哈哈！你的招式很棒的。
Would you rather do this in English?
我听不懂英文。哈哈哈哈哈哈！你为何而来？
这是一个漫长而悲伤的故事。RPG， 为什么没人带我上分呢？哎，这个是什么呀？不对呀，这合理吗？这就是我的故事。
你是不是傻
？Burning 的补刀，奥瑞的磨练，双须兄弟的决心，所有这一切，都是为了此刻 AME 大师。时候到了。
天哥，你已经准备好了。
注重经济发育，
已真成熟。
而钢铁
心境
唯有烈火方能淬炼。
相信自己。
妈妈，牛来。
先锋4，我打你！
What a fantastic content piece coming out here for this year's TI. It is such an enjoyable moment every year where we get to see the creativeness that comes out. And Skydub getting the absolute long list of legends and masterful training there just for Herald 4 like the rest of us.
Yeah, I'm not sure I understood all the references, but I still enjoyed it mightily. My goodness. It's also cool to get to see all the sort of the Chinese pros and people in the scene from, like, I don't know, it's been such a long time we've been in Dota. So to get to see Burning and, I don't know, all these legends is very, very cool.
And hearing the crowd respond to all the cameos was incredible. They were so loud. I mean, especially for Slacks. You know what I mean? The master of all masters.
No, that was a great content piece. I had a blast watching it. It was really, really nice.
It's always really fun, and it feels like it really does do a service to everyone that's given so much of their lives, so much of their times, given us like such notable plays as well, specifically from our Chinese Dota scene. So I love it. Thank you guys so much again for putting in all of that effort, for making what it was such a fun content piece here. But at the end of the day, the one reason a lot of us are still tuning in is the grand finals. We still have not decided who is going to be lifting that Aegis. Right now, Spirit are 2 games in this one. It is Vision with 1 game for themselves. And when you look towards it, it is only 1 more game Spirit need until we have 2 3-time TI champions, a 2-time TI champion in LOL as well, and a first-time TI attendee lifting the Aegis and not me. Like, it's crazy to think you are 1 game away from getting to achieve all of that together as a 5-man.
Yeah, I think you need to be careful that pressure doesn't affect you. I think this team is as good at not doing that as anyone, is staying strong and focusing on the gameplay at hand. But the closer you get, I think the more of a temptation it becomes. And it's the classic Kuro line of don't think about winning. And I think there is truth in that you want to stay focused on actually playing the game, not on the result that happens if you do. Because while that's cool and all, that is not relevant right now because it's not a reality.
Yep, it's 0-0, right? You start over the game just fresh. Nothing. Dota doesn't care that you're 2 games up, right? It's not going to be more forgiving to you, or it's not going to make you deal more damage. None of your heroes change. It's all starting over from scratch, and equal opportunity for both teams here, really.
We're looking at the number of TI appearances, and it's so fun to get to look at the numbers and then kind of put it into a percentage, into a different sort of perspective. If Spirit were to win on here, it would be a 50% win rate at TI for Yotaro, Miposhka, and Collapse. That's crazy. They've attended 6, this one being their 6, and to win 3 of them would be wild.
That's insane. That's like, because the TIs that Team Spirit didn't win, they got knocked out early.
Yeah.
So it really feels like the story with this team has been, if you don't knock them out early, they're going to evolve and develop into this Pokemon that no one can defeat, you know? Just like Dove went on her journey in that content piece to become the master of all masters. This is what's happening here.
But it's not like Vision are going to go down without a fight, though, in Stadia. We saw them really bounce back in game number 2, and that's the hope I'm hoping they're holding on to, that knowing that they can stick it to Spirit if it gets to that late game.
Absolutely, and I think they've proved it time and time again throughout the event. All their matches have been 2-1s. That means you've been put in these positions before where you're only one game away from losing the series and you have to clutch it out. So they know it's not a position they're not familiar with. They're very familiar with it. And I think they are just like Spirit. They're a team that learns a lot from the drafts. They can improve with every game that they play. And to be honest, the story of this series so far seems to be like, you want to make sure you have the end game win condition.
Yeah, and they also haven't had that for those 3 games. And so while they may be down and it may seem like Spirit has been doing better throughout the series, it's not that distant. Like, that's the thing about these games is you can be losing and can even feel dominant. But when you go back and you watch the replay or you look at the draft, it's such small things change that give you such a big advantage. And you've had a bigger gap now, right? Between games 3 or between games 2, no, 3 and 4. 3 and 4, sorry.
Yes, you're
there
right,
is a
Sasan.
longer break. And so that means you have more time to think about things, more time to reset a little bit, to process how you want to change your draft and come in stronger. And so I think that break helps the team that's down a little bit because you get to process things and figure a little bit more out.
I know this is such a weird question to ask, but when you go to a game number 4 and you get that elongated break, what is the process of it? Because I'm also aware that these guys have been going at it for hours, and I know that recovering is one aspect of it, but are you out there caffeinating more? Are you eating? Like, what are the other ways in which you're trying to utilize the fact that you have a longer break instead of just talking about the Dota?
I think a lot of it depends from person to person. I think because some people need to work on the draft, but that's not everyone. It's not something you want too many cooks in the kitchen. You want just enough. And so I think some people are leaning back in their chair. You have a little bit of food. You're just chilling and sort of, I don't know, you eat a little bit and you wait for the next game. And I think some people are going the other route. They're drinking coffee. They're drinking whatever caffeine they need, and they're focusing on the draft and doing the hard work. And so I think the leadership roles, maybe the No One and the Puppy, they're taking the hard road of we need to fix problems and work on things. And your Satanics and your Notice, your newer players, I'm going to steel myself. I'm going to play as well as I can for this upcoming game.
I do think that a pep talk needs to happen, though, for Vision, especially for their supports. Because something that I wanted to talk about was I do think the supports, the duos, are getting diffed this game. Even in that game, too, I feel like in all 3 games, Team Spirit supports have been moving to the mid lane and outpacing Vision supports. They've been clutching the late game. They've been able to do more with what they have than Team Vision. And when I look at this, I don't really see the issues with the cores and how they've been playing. It's more so how the supports are enabling them, and Team Vision are a little bit lackluster today compared to Ruin Not Me.
I mean, it ties to the hero pools and the drafts, right? We saw in this game 3, Spirit's bans are all over 9 class. None of the heroes that he really wants to play are given to him. He's forced to play this Marcy. I know Puppy said they wanted to do it. It's a cool idea. I could definitely see it work. There's potential for it. And I think, honestly, any other hero than the TB, they probably put it with the Star Dart, like you said, Mira, and then they try to run over that lane. But once TB comes out, it's just, this isn't possible anymore. And that's just, I think, draft-wise, Spirit has been solving that. They've been making it hard for the supports to have that impact.
I think another big factor that comes into it is these games 4s is you just have to stay mentally strong. That to me was the biggest thing about playing in a TI final is it's such a mental test. It's just different than every other series, and all your hopes and dreams are so close, especially now that you've gotten deeper into the series. Being able to just focus on the Dota and push all those things aside is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And so I feel for these players, and I look and see how they come into the boost and how the game starts and trying to feel how they feel, because it is, I think, honestly, it's harder than the Dota itself, is the mentality that goes into it and being strong and fortifying yourself to actually be able to play the game to the fullest of your ability.
Yeah, I do think that's where Team Spirit shines, with that mental fortification. But just to address the graphic that came on screen, they had the same kill participation in 9 class and Not Me. And what Aiden mentioned about the draft is very true, because if your Willow has 3-man Curse Crowns and 1 Terrorize in a team fight, and your Marcy, all she can do is rebound, there's not that much you can do. The support duos and their heroes have looked like they don't have enough. I mean, at some point, you can break Dota down simply to the more control we have, the easier the late game will be. And you could just look towards fixing the angles of control. Maybe Enchantress should be benched for the next game.
Perhaps. I mean, I think the idea with the Marcy here was just you were going to bail out our carry, right? But bailing someone out when he's in a losing matchup and he doesn't win by surviving is the issue. That really is where it's just Spirit they're geniuses, and there's a reason they're here. And it's honestly impressive that they can do that with just 1 pick.
Yeah, it feels like when you're doing the Marcy and that is the pivotal part for her, that's the role that she wants to play, you're almost saying, we don't actually really want a team fight. We might poke and we might try and all in, but at the end of the day, that isn't really our MO with what we're going for here.
Yeah, it's tough, and you just have to... You either have to pick a path and do your own thing and just pick your own heroes and say Spirit's going to counter us and that's okay. We believe in our heroes a whole lot. That's one path. And the other route is you try to play Spirit's game. And you say you're going to counter our strategy on a higher level. We're going to try to do the same thing. And I think you have to kind of pick a path because in some ways I think they're dilly-dallying between the two. Sometimes they're picking their own stuff and sometimes they're trying to overarching counter. I think they're getting a bit outplayed at Spirit's game and they're not quite fully committing to the other way.
Yeah, I mean, what you mentioned there in regards to the previous game, like they opened up with a Shadow Fiend. They wanted to build up the Shadow Fiend to be this critical point in the game where Satanic just stands there and chunks at everybody. So they enable him with an amp damage and a Mercy sidekick. But at some point, it really wasn't working out to actually get him to play. The game ended with Yatoro's Terrorblade having 55,000 hero damage and Satanic's SF having 20,000 hero damage. He just was not able to stand there and hit. So maybe it's because they didn't fully commit to the idea of building up a turret in SF. Maybe the Pango plus Starter together made it redundant and they needed one more enabler.
I do think there's even more credit that goes the way of Spirit and Miposhka is because they first picked the Nature's Prophet and they go in thinking that this is going to be a Yatoro Nature's Prophet, right? They're not really calling this that Lal is going to be comfortable playing it, and even if they do, then they're willing to call that bluff. And it is almost an exact replica of what happened in Game 1, where they're trying to call the bluff again on Lal's hero pool. He doesn't play that Slark, and even if we do, we'll try and dodge the matchup. He doesn't play Nature's Prophet. Well, he does. There are 7 competitive games for him, and whilst the win rate before this game wasn't necessarily positive, he's still comfortable enough to do it. And I feel like you can't keep resting on the laurels that you're going to call the bluff of Lal's hero pool anymore.
I think if you go back to the draft even, like they end up last banning Monkey King. Like Monkey King isn't really a hero that we've seen much. And I feel like when I was looking at the draft, I feel like they felt so good about the first 4 heroes matchups into the other 4 that they didn't really think about, is there anything that could in any possible way stomp our draft in the end? Because if you remove Terrorblade from Spirit there, I don't know what they pick. I feel like no matter what they pick, they're going to be playing like the tempo style. They're going to have to try to like ramp up this game. And I think Satanic is a person that is much more comfortable when he's the person being tempoed on rather than when they have to be the ones setting the tempo.
Yeah, I mean, they're built in pubs. These players are playing so many of these games where everyone's running at them. They see Satanic or Yatoros in the lobby, and they charge at them. You've built this incredible skill set of dodging ganks, of surviving, of getting farmed anyway. And the flip side is just not something that really gets built to the same degree, especially when you're a young player who's only been playing competitively for 2 to 3 years. You want to put him in his strong suit where he's been molded and formed and let him do the things that he's so ridiculously, insanely good at that's gotten him all the way to this finals.
I'm just looking at the fact that Spirit, once again, they sacrificed some part of the hair to the Dota gods, and it feels like right now the tides aren't turning against them when it comes to favorability because they have had that advantage now. You guys have coined it in all 3 drafts. Vision aren't looking necessarily like the team that they have in the upper bracket where they haven't dropped a single series, where they took that path into the grand finals here because they're 1 game down, and whilst they take to the stage again, there is that seed of doubt. This could be your final game of TI-15. This could be it that makes or breaks you.
Yeah, there's a feeling as you walk onto the stage of you looking at the crowd and trying to savor it, but also focusing that mix of relishing the moment, but also you need to win. Your life is on the line here. Provision and Spirit is 1 game away from being the undisputed GOATs.
Yeah, it's so close, you know. I think for them, they've been compared to OG for all these years, you know, 2 TI wins each. Who's truly better? And today they have the chance to finally end all discussion. There's no discussion after this.
Yeah.
If they get the 3-peat, it's over.
And Quinn, you've been in a position where you're like 1 game from elimination at a TI Grand Finals against Team Spirit. Like, how do you steel yourself against the force that they are?
I think so much of it has to do with like honesty with each other. I think a lot of times, at least for us, pressure can get to you and people can start to feel bad, and you can feel that in their communication, their atmosphere, and it bleeds into everyone else. It becomes sort of this fog in the air that you can't quite see through. And so I think, I don't know, having an honest conversation, people who are anxious talking about that, and you get to the human side of it and you realize that, hey, this is a privilege. It's a very hard thing. We're all together and we're just going to push through it and do the best that we can.
We're seeing here both Collapse and Yatoro, the potential 3-timers. The fact that they're 1 game away, and when you look at them, I mean, more more now than ever before, but I feel like I can't read them. I cannot read them at all. They already have 2 of these TI rings to themselves. To add a 3rd would be insane. And all 3 as a player. No one's done that. 3 rings as a player.
I mean, it's a crazy achievement. I'm sad to see that they both have a full head of hair walking on, honestly. I was hoping somebody would have shaved their head before coming out. But
They're locked in.
Yeah, they're locked in.
They're locked into the point where they don't need to sacrifice their own hair. It's just time to get rid of Nami's beard. You know, he's the newbie. They're going to get him the TI win so long as he's able to give up.
It's crazy to think we have 14 of those beautiful pieces of jewelry there to commemorate every year that we've gotten to see a team take to that stage to win a grand finals and to eventuate the dreams of lifting an Aegis.
Yeah, that spot is just waiting for them, ready to be etched in. Their name is already in game twice when you hover over that Aegis. They're close to having their name a 3rd time. You're barely going to be able to play the game without seeing their names everywhere at this point. So synonymous with Dota in the past 6 years, and I think it is just such an iconic series, and the history of those players, the fact that Puppey won his first, and now at the end of all the 15, right, the most recent TI, the potential to win it again. It's part of why Dota is so great. It's such a rich history and so many players that have been around for so long. It makes all these series mean just that much more.
Yeah, I just find it so poetic if Team Spirit are able to do this. It's because Miposhka came back to the team as a coach. It really did feel like when they didn't have him earlier in this year, they were lacking something very deep. His ideas in Dota really are why Team Spirit became what they are. He's the one who influenced Collapse and Yatoro and turned them into the players that they are. He's the one who influenced Satanic. Satanic, when he played on the stint on Team Spirit, it was Miposhka who took the guiding role and talked to him about their ideas. And now he's come as a coach. He lost the best of 3 2 days ago to Puppey. A lot of it was due to getting outdrafted by Puppey, but he prepared really hard. He's been showing up today, and he's been absolutely frying him, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, this is all about the strategies. I think both teams, honestly, when you look at the gameplay, they are playing well. All the players deserve to be here. They're playing at a level that, you know, it is what you have to be able to play at in order to be in a TI Grand Finals. But ultimately, when the teams are so closely matched, it's going to come down to who has those slight advantages through the draft, who has the slightly easier draft to execute, and who has more opportunities to do things in the games, and who has more opportunities to win the games. And I think right now, Miposhka is giving that to his team.
There's still full belief, though, that Puppey is able to take this extended break between a game 3 or 4, work out that maybe they're playing too much into what Spirit want for themselves. Playing their game, lost themselves a little bit because it's not over. You have this game, and you still have Satanic on your team. Satanic stood in for Team Spirit when Yatoro wanted to take a break. He ends up joining Vision. They hit top 3 last year. They at least bested this year with a guaranteed top 2. But they want to take it that one step further, and you want to be able to push it to a game number 5 to show that this Prince and King battle isn't as straightforward as everyone wants to chalk it up to be.
Yeah, this is not over yet. Vision have something to say, and they get a chance to prove it here. They bounced back once before. They bounced back in every series they played to get here. If anyone can do it, it's them. Their players are incredible, and they have all the tools.
Man, I wish we would just stop talking. So casters, please give us the game, and we can just go watch some good Dota, please, Nat.
I promise you the grand finals is continuing as a lot rides on game number 4.
Team Vision versus Team Spirit. Grand Finals. Game 4.
The lobby start button, at least, has been pressed. The game start is still to be decided as we want to see what 5 heroes these guys are going to pick for themselves, what 10 we will have in our matchup, because game 4, we said it before and we'll say it again, it is a make or break. Takala's asked for the rematch of the Prince and the King, and you got to wonder what exactly are they going to plan for themselves here. Is it going to be another carry-to-carry matchup where you want to be able to put all of your eggs into the Satanic basket? Or will we be seeing more emphasis placed on the supports? As right now, a Treant Protector, Dark Willow, Bounty Hunter, Nature's Prophet, and Shadow Fiend taken out.
Yeah, it's interesting that Shadow Fiend was super heavily prioritized by both teams, getting first pick the last 2 games, and now Spirit is first pick, and they ban it out. So clearly they have another path. They don't want to mess around with these SF lines anymore. They want to find something new, a new avenue to go down.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a different game, right? They've changed basically the hero that's been so defining for this entire series in the SF. It's what made the game 1 happen, it's what made game 2 happen, and it's also what made game 3 happen. So we have a completely new draft in front of us. We see Lone Druid is finally banned out by Vision this time around. It's been a hero that I feel like both teams have kind of drafted around this entire time. We haven't seen him pop up, but the threat of him has been influencing every single pick that we've seen in the previous games.
Yeah, and I think that was a really strong read by Puppey to ban the Lone Druid, because what other hero could justify banning SF when you have first pick? It is the Lone Druid, and you don't want to play against these SF plus Slardar matchups again versus him. Puppey's like, nah, we see you, we're not doing it, and they end up banning Earth Spirit at the end.
Another big difference in this draft is that all the supports are in. We've been seeing all the supports getting banned out in all the previous games. Spirit in this position have been prioritizing Winter Wyvern a lot in previous games. And for Vision, we have the potential of an Ember coming out into a Slark ban. So there's a lot of these things that are going on right now, and the conversations are surrounding these heroes and how we can counter them down the line if they do come out.
There's also Bane that's been getting consistently banned, that's been let through.
Same thing with the Coddle for Vision. So I honestly like this adaptation for Vision, saying we're banning supports before, it wasn't working. Okay, give them their subs, whatever, we'll ban the cores instead. I think this is a cool change up and forces a different angle that maybe Spirit has less preparation for.
Again, also an IO angle that this hero has emerged as one of the heroes of TI, and when you have the Winter Wyvern on your team, you could be preparing for it as well as a soft counter to the IO.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think even in the first game when the Vision played IO, I feel like they never really got to play the hero. So it's something that they might still look for down the line. I think it's absolutely a threat. Wyvern is good against it, but it's such a strong hero that you're going to need more than that.
And we talked about a couple of times that 9 class has been really heavily focused in the bans, and to me this is also a good adaptation, saying he's been playing Hoodwink and Marcy, and some heroes are a little bit less ideal for him, and so we're saying we're just going to give him a hero that's not only great against Winter Wyvern, but is just a super comfort hero for him, and Vision have had a lot of success with.
It opens up for a lot of combinations that Vision are really comfortable with the Coddle, like the Ember Spirit and the Pango. The Ember gets taken out, and I wonder if they care enough or are threatened enough by the Pango to address it or to just let it through.
Yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen. Wyvern, I think, is a pretty decent hero against Pango in some ways, because you can kind of juke him out over hills, you can play over cliffs, you also have the Curse. If you manage to curse a strong turret hero to the Pango, it sometimes almost immediately kills him. So there is some counterplay there with the Wyvern, but I don't think it's not enough to dissuade you from picking Pango if it's good against the rest of the heroes.
Yeah, definitely still an option. All the things you said are very true. I think it's with Coddle, generally you want spellcasting mids, right? You want to enable some hero that uses the mana so you can farm faster and you can fight more, have more uptime on the map. That's one of Coddle's biggest strengths, is it allows your cores, especially your mid hero, because subs just tend to play with the mid hero, that means they can stay on the map, which gives you more attacks, allows you to defend more places because resources are such a huge part of the early game.
I feel like that's absolutely one part of it, and the other part of Coddle's gameplay is the healing. And this is probably what has made Coddle into one of the strongest modern supports, is that it heals. And healing works really well with any sort of damage reduction, or if you're really tanky. If you die too quickly, the heals won't come in. Coddle takes quite a while to wind up the heals, so you want to make sure you have a tanky enough draft to where you can survive the initial round of spells from your opponents for the heal to then kick in.
Very true, and healing lineups are so problematic because the Vessel buyers in Earth Spirit and Ember Spirit from the mid lane are already taken out. The other ones that buy Vessel, like Void Spirit, aren't that good in the meta, and anti-heal heroes like Ancient Apparition are super dead. So when you're playing against it, it's very pesky, and you kind of solve it through insane damage from your carry. And heroes like that, like Terrorblade, banned out, and Kez, countered by Doom, can't be picked here.
Yeah, it's a nice setup. I feel like Vision have relied on this Doom previously in the tournament too. Also, Doom against all of these, like, throughout history, superstar players, like we got Miracles, you know, Yatoro, obviously. When they get doomed, they're not the same player. They don't get to click buttons, and it doesn't matter how good you are. If you're stunned or if you're doomed and you're not allowed to press buttons, nobody, no matter how skilled you are, can play the game. So Centaur solves it, right?
Stampede away from the Doom. Also, Not Me's clock has been left in the pool. He hasn't gotten his hands on this hero yet.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they go for a double melee offlane. It's not something that either team has really been favoring so far in this finals. People want strong lanes. They want to come in and fight you and contest the early game and not give you what you want and play a slower game. You want to start off on the right foot. So it will, you know, sacrifice a little bit of the early game if they go for the clockwork here. But I mean, we've seen how much Not Me can do on the hero. Yeah, okay. They just think he's just too good. Just give it to him.
He's just that guy.
There is still that chance, though, that Centaur plays mid. I'm not saying it's something that Spirit necessarily love, and Centaur is such an archetype of a collapse hero, but there is still that we don't want to fall into the trap of calling Spirit's bluff either about Lal's hero pool at this point in TI.
I'm going to call your trap, and I think you've been talking too much to Falcons.
Oh, my bad.
I really hope we don't get a Centaur mid.
I didn't say it was good, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, absolutely. And, you know, that has been their MO for this series, right? They keep tricking us and Vision into thinking this is what they're doing with their draft, and then in the last pick, they swap it all up. So it is obviously a possibility. But
Insane's putting it at 1%.
Yeah, I think I'm like the Dota Plus meter right now, where it's very far to like not happening.
Yeah, it's a very fair suggestion because that's been the story of the series. But the reason why it works so well on Falcons is because Malrine likes to do it. I don't think Laurel is willing to do anything, but would he be willing to do this for his team? It is so boring.
I mean, I feel like at this point we can't count him out, but I would think it's a Collapse Centaur. It's one of his signature heroes. He loves to play it. Vision also seemed to think that way because they decided to pick the Lifestealer. And Lifestealer is quite a high commitment hero. Once you pick it, it needs to have a good lane. If it doesn't, the hero just seems useless. So they think it is too. They commit to this lane matchup, and it is obviously a pretty strong matchup for Lifestealer.
Okay. And with this, it seems like they are somewhat committed to it being Centaur off lane, I think. I also think Centaur mid just doesn't scale super well against Lifestealer, so they're okay playing the lane. And this is a lane where Satanic will have complete free farm. We've seen a couple of games now where Spirit's got a lot of pressure on Vision safe lane, and Satanic does not have the freest game that he would, hope for. And so in this game, he will have that great start. And TA also has a pretty good lane. I think against Doom, it's a classic counter because even if you Doom him, he can just blink away because it goes on the refraction, and then you haven't canceled his blink yet. So I think both carries are set up for good games, which, maybe we get the epic anime fight. That's what I'm hoping for.
I do think that TA is a higher execution carry than Lifestealer, though, because she's been nerfed a lot on the lane, so she can't oppress the enemy offlaner the way that she used to, so the enemy offlaner will have more net worth than they are, and eventually, even if you can blink out, you get Doom, Dota gets really hard to play in that late game, especially when Doom gets that Congregations of the Deep with the Shiva's Guard. Like, at that point, that hero is so absurd.
Yeah, I always feel like once Doom gets to Shiva Zags, the game is over. I've been saying it time and time again on the panel, but we never get to see it. But it is an incredibly strong endgame timing. I will say TA against Coddle has quite a lot of things going for her. She's one of the heroes that can't get blasted in the lane. You just press refraction the moment you see the horses run towards you. It's quite a strong matchup in that regard. They have this pressure set up with the Winter Wyvern that can provide sustain to outlast any sort of damage that Doom can do to her. So I quite like the laning matchup for Spirit, and we've talked about it in the previous games, but this laning pressure for them has been really important in order for them to win these games. So for that regard, I really like the team.
Yeah, she serves a purpose within the draft that we talked about earlier too, with healing lineups and how they're hard to break through. She is one of the high burst damage carries that can kill somebody before the Coddle blasts keep coming out and keep piling up. I do worry about if she isn't playing tempo. If Spirit are on the back foot this game, I don't have that much faith in the hero. But if they can win the lanes like they have been the last few games, it should be fine.
Yeah, I do see one weakness with Vision's heroes is that they lack playmakers, really. Doom is quite farmy, Lifestealer is quite farmy, and both their supports are heroes that want to sit behind another core who's making moves and cast spells. And so, as of now, Spirit kind of knows the archetype of mid-hero they want, and that can mean that you can pick a hero that makes that pick very uncomfortable or hard to lane or bad for any number of reasons. And it also means that, once again, TA will have a super free game because there's no way she can really die in this game, barring some, last pick shenanigans.
And there's still Pango for Team Vision. The only counter would be the Winter Wyvern, but they need that Coddle combination. They need something that can play with Mirana's aggression.
I think leaving it is fair, though, from Spirit, because that matchup against Clockwork is actually quite bad. When he presses roll, you just press cogs, and it's very hard to steer, even if you've got, some serious driver's license. And on top of that, TA, when you're rolling in, she can meld you and just keep blasting you, as she's sort of a traditional turret. So it's not the easiest Pangolier game, but the Coddle helps with some of those problems.
I mean, the other deterrent is Wyvern, right? You have the triple melee core lineup, so it's high likelihood that if you're playing Pango, you're going to have heroes close to you that potentially could get cursed with you.
Is Void Spirit pickable for Vision, Quinn?
Depends on the mid hero. Of the supports, yes, absolutely. Neither of them has very much lockdown, really. So if you kind of dart in and out, you get on top of the Winter Wyvern and you're very hard to pin down. It is just not a very good hero right now. We've seen it picked before. Lorinov played it once during the main stage, and it did not look super great. And so it's got to be a pretty perfect game for that hero, I think, to pull it out.
Storm Spirit. Interesting. It's a brave hero into Doom. This hero can absolutely ruin your day. You generally a Storm, like of course you can keep zipping around all the time and you'll never get Doom, but that drains your mana really quickly. And this hero actually relies on auto-attacking a lot more than people realize. You kind of want to sit in a place, hit a bit, use the zip to chase someone down. You don't really want to use it to just stay invulnerable the entire time. And you can explain this a lot better than I can.
No, it's absolutely true, and I think it's a very underrated part of Storm. Storm, for all intents and purposes, is just a right-click hero, and the zip is a way of getting close and getting far away from people. So if you can't stand there and hit, then that means you don't actually do any damage, because just flying around doesn't do anything. You cast one static remnant, okay, it's a 300 damage nuke. That's not enough for a core contribution in a fight.
It is still, in a way, denying Vision being able to have a good Coddle combo from the mid in that Storm Spirit. You don't have an infinite amount of bans, so leaving it in, picking it up for yourself, even if it does feel scary playing it into Doom, it at least makes Vision have to think a bit more and end up with a Sand King last pick.
Yeah, the Sand King is just solving the issue of now you have a Storm Spirit, we don't have enough stuns, how do we deal with the Storm Spirit? And nothing really was left in the pool aside from this Sand King.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not the Falcons' influence that we talked about earlier, but we definitely see their influence on this final, right? The Sand King mid comes out, Malrine special. I do remember no one, they obviously placed top 3 at last TI. Last TI was a lot about these Sand Kings and Earthshakers and this archetype of hero mid. So he's definitely played this before. He knows how the hero works.
He's like, oh god, mid Sand King again?
That's how I
have to witness this.
Yeah, there will be a lot of trying to draw the mid lane and playing off stacks. That's so much about what this hero is about. Is he doesn't pressure you, but it's very hard to pressure him. And so attacking Vision's triangle, potentially fighting these stacks, could be a big look for Team Spirit. But I think this is a game that's very based off skill. I think a lot of the early game, there's a lot of potential moves for different places. This one, honestly, is a draft that I chalk much more to being even than the other games. I think Vision has done a good job at pulling it back. And this is a game that I think they should be very happy with. Honestly, I think the draft is the best so far, and it's not super easy for Spirit.
When you talk about, sorry, very quickly, talking about invading that trying to take stacks, which hero on the side of Spirit is going to utilize that the best, and you're hoping he's going to be able to take advantage of it?
Probably anybody but Centaur. If you're doing well in lanes, just charge and get in there.
Yeah, I mean, this top lane, I think, is going to determine a lot. With how this TA matchup into Doom goes, I think will determine whether they can actually invade a triangle or not. And if they're able to do that, they're set up in a great position. And if they're not able to do that, I think it's quite a tricky position to be in.
I think it's very important for Vision supports to be able to enable No One Sand King and play with them, because Team Spirit supports have been running mid and playing with Laurel for the last few games. And if they can get some combos going with the Impale and Tamarana Arrow, this game will be a lot more even than the last one.
So there's more faith then in the earlier part of what Vision have for themselves, but then the question is, because Spirit have already coined that they can play every type of game, every playstyle needed, is that late game also still incredibly favorable if Vision just want to sit back and farm?
I think Vision has a much stronger scaling in this game than they've had in any other game. It's
oh,
not
wow.
As hard yeah.
Fully agree.
All right, that is a lot of props to Vision then, being able to take advantage of that longer break there. But we are instead going to be talking to Spirit's coach. It's Miposhka standing by with Slacks.
Thank you so much. Yes, here with Miposhka. One more game. One more game to be one of the most legendary Dota players of all time. I just want to talk to you about how you're feeling right now, man. We're going into it.
A bit nervous.
A bit nervous? You, the GOAT?
No, of course. It's I feel like I'm excited, one more game, as you said. And I can believe in our draft. I see an idea. I'm sure that we can win this game. So that's why I'm nervous, because they also might win. They also have some good idea in their draft. So we'll see.
May the best team win then. I did want to ask you about being a leader in your region. You've trained up so many incredible talents, especially when Satanic was starting off. I know that you had a big relationship with him. You raised him up from the ground. Do you regret that? Is that a...
Yeah, it's true.
Do you regret that at all?
What?
Regret making Satanic good?
I don't know what is regret.
Well, I'm sure there are no regrets going into this series. Thank you so much. And incredible to have you here. And we will get into that game.
Here we go. Game 4 time, ladies and gentlemen, here in the grand finals of the International 2026. Spirit versus Vision and the draft. They continue to excite Fog right up until the end. We're getting, honestly, maybe took a couple of minutes that we have seen, but something that I didn't necessarily expect to see in this sort of situation here from these two teams. Lyle bringing in the Storm, and then this pick in response. No one. He's coming in with his mid-Sand King.
Very interesting approaches coming out from both sides. Lots of iconic heroes the teams do like to play with. Laurel, his Storm is one of his best. The TA, we don't see that many people playing it, but Yatoro, it's another iconic one for him. And talking about some of these supports, right? We have to mention them. 9 class, this time playing his Coddle. We did mention what he could try to do on the Marcy in that last game, but started to feel the weaknesses of it. His Coddle is absolutely amazing. And then Not Me, playing his absolutely legendary Clockwork. He has been a game breaker for so many different teams. He's just been able to do so much with this hero that so many other players haven't after some of these nerfs. So my big eyes are on those two players. Yes, the cores end up doing so much in these games, but my eyes are on the 4 positions right now.
I mean, all in all, what did... these two drafts sort of say to you in terms of how the teams want to play? Are we seeing Spirit and Vision do something that they've already done so far this grand finals, or is one of these teams switching it up a bit more than the other relative to what they've played so far?
It's different drafts, but you can see some type of styles as both teams being like, we're going to have the late game. No, we're going to have the late game. But then you look this time with this Sand King last pick, it does seem like a fantastic answer to be able to get to this late game scaling, because they will have this chain stun that can come out. They have the Coddle that synergizes with it. And if he can get these big connections with his Epis, it's going to be able to bypass the Wyvern saves, bypass potentially that Centaur protecting some of these heroes too, because it is that much overwhelming damage. So I quite like this pick. I'm not sure if it's going to fully end up working out, but I do like the idea that I see behind this Sand King.
Forward to see what no one's going to be able to do on it. He is a fantastic playmaker from the mid. Something a little different from him personally in response to what we've had from him elsewise on the mid heroes.
Bottom, Arrow will connect onto Collapse. Titanic trying to trade back and forth, playing versus this double melee as the strength hero. Double strength as well too.
Looking forward to see what Satanic can do. Had a very solid lifestealer showing earlier in this grand finals.
He's set up for success in this lane, right? He should be able to farm pretty consistent down here, unless Not Me does some type of crazy cog play, which we can't write that off, of course, because of how nuts he really is on this hero. Spirits looked very good in their lanes, though. Across the board, every single one of their games, they're able to secure the free farm, especially for Yatoro, in every single one of those. And do a good start. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see what Laurel can do of piercing backlines, finding the Coddle. I think we have similar type of strategy from both of the mid laners, where one, yes, he's a right-clicking core that's going to be scaling, that's the Storm Spirit, while the Sand King, he does the same type of thing where he jumps the backline, finds the Wyvern, while Storm jumps the Coddle. So this interesting dynamic between the two that has similarities. And we're seeing this already at this point. 9 class, they're not playing to win that top lane, of course, since it is this Coddle plus Doom versus TA Wyvern. The TA Wyvern have a clear advantage. He's going to play the stacking game. So already getting those built up, it's going to be fantastic for no one. He's going to do well in the lane, and then he's going to build a backup. Get those stacks as well, too. So very important for them to have that for this nice mid-game timing. And Vision, they did secure themselves with quite a lot of team fight this time around too.
And last time round, obviously we saw the importance of how the carry-to-carry matchup played out. Last time round, obviously we saw the importance of how the carry-to-carry matchup played out between these.
As he gets the level 2 cogs, he ends up just winning lanes that aren't supposed to win a lot of times. So Collapse, he's getting a lot out of the lane versus the lifesteal, which sometimes we have seen these lifestealers be able to bully.
At the least, as the lifestealer, you know, it's at least a carry that doesn't care too much. Sure, it's annoying getting his mana burned, but still able to lane, still able to sustain, despite the fact that he's having all his mana being taken away by this pesky Clockwork.
Oh, absolutely. And looking forward to see what Ducalis is going to do. How's that mid-rotation going to look? He's going to be able to get the connection with the chain stun for the Sand King to get the kill on the Storm. That's how they have to kill the Storm. That's really their only stun combo, so they have to get it perfectly to get that connection and to finish off Laurel.
I look towards him, but with the 6 online, not a lot that can be done with these two.
Chakra will be there, so no one will have the mana. He'll have another stun, potentially clearing out the wave. So this wave is going to shove into Laurel, which might secure No One the rune as well, too. Double rotations from the supports. This time it's Vision with the earlier move of these two supports. And action.
He's actually ready to go aggressive on, and Not Me has the Burrow Strike into the arrow. Not Me will drop down the cogs, try and get out of this.
Actually protects him. Unable to find that extra connection. Can't go for the leap plays through the cogs. Double D wards though, Ducalis. Reading where these obs are placed from Not Me. That's 2 of them he's been able to grab. It's a lot of experience you get this early in the game for something like Mirana.
See in the mid, another attempt onto Lal. It's a lot of burst. Still, always going to be quite a tough kill to find in the early stages.
It's a big deal that Ducalis gets this double ops ward. He's going to be very high level on Mirana. This is a decent damage dealing support too, if you do get off to a good start, and he is crucial for this game to have that chain stun versus the Storm.
I mean, and that's going to keep this area of the map so safe for Satanic, right? In a game as well where it's not going to be the easiest to gank this Lifestealer, right?
True. Trying to get aggressive here to steal the Wisdom.
Going for the 7-minute play. Lap should be able to hold Ducalis off this. Indeed, notice finishing off Root. We'll see them try for the play. Satanic committing with the Rage. Arrow onto Collapse. Look at the Who Stop, but the Vortex is there onto Satanic, but no one, he's here to help out. Lal has to zip away. Cogs push it back on towards Ducalis. He'll take him down. No One claim the Shrine of Wisdom.
Clever movement there from No One. They'll be able to gain the double, and they also get the first blood for Doom, which, I mean, you wouldn't really expect in this game in the lane that he's been put up against, but because he finds the Wyvern on the side alone, this Doom is now level 6. Very big deal for Vision to have this type of start into the game. The Lifestealer's free farming, Sand King's off to a good start with stacks to go back to, and Doom now at this point overperforming to what maybe he could have had.
Yeah, being able to make those plays on both sides of the map at the same time here, 7 minutes in.
Really like that move from No One. As Sand King, it's like the similar thing of the Monkey King of the old days where you just go to that, you know, you go to that shrine, how are you going to contest him? That Sandstorm gets popped down, it's way too much damage. Panic?
Not quite able to get the cog onto him, at least the first one. Would have maybe been close to threatening him here
he might
if they got the 2 connections. Yeah, he's super low.
He might still be at jeopardy here. Not Me is trying to close the gap, but Satanic, he reads the movement, he'll be able to distance himself away. Oh, really? I mean, Not Me is stalking him. He's got another
to be
cog.
a bit greedy here, Satanic.
Cogs, can he line him up?
One. One.
Whoop, whoop,
whoop,
whoop, whoop.
Won't get the second, but the battery assault. Oh, it's close, but he won't quite get it. Satanic lives. A good effort there from Not Me. The Satanic ready with the dodges.
Satanic's had practice versus this minigame quite a lot here.
No One. Rotation's coming in from Notice. He's ready to swing across from the top lane. Root looking pretty dead here, caught in the Sandstorm.
This is going to be a very farm
I mean, they're building up the kills here early, Vision. And they're going to be able to keep this coming in right. We're going to expect a lot of fast plays from No One, obviously, going for this Blink Dagger rush.
It's going to be such a fast pace that he gets it because of those stacks. He was able to just go back and clear. He finishes them super quick because he has this good entry into the game. 4-4-0. He can wait to go for the epicenter afterwards to look for the plays once he's got the Blink Dagger.
And just a question of whether or not Lal's going to be able to keep up with the tempo on the Storm Spirit, a hero that in some of these mid matchups has just failed to be able to do as much as the enemy hero.
And hard for Laurel, right, to set up ganks on these side lanes potentially, because playing into the Lifestealer, it's just not an easy way to go for these type of plays. You can't just go to that lane, gank him very easily, because he's got the built-in rage. He's also level 6, so he's got the Infest now too. So, yeah, it's eyes on Laurel, how he's going to react to this type of start here from the Sand King. And damage for him.
Lal is going to jump in. He does not have a lot of mana. The arrow comes in. Lal's dead.
Oh, he gets baited.
He cannot make moves like that. A very aggressive play, zipping into the river. Even if they didn't catch him in the stuns, I don't know if he would have had enough mana to break away from them. That was a move gone horribly wrong there for Lal.
These Storms have had trouble in this tournament. We've seen it time and time again. No one now even able to invade. They see a triple stack. Did they actually I don't know if they saw it. He pulled the camp away as they did.
Right, if they do see that, that's going to be quite juicy here for Vision.
No one at this point. He's going to have the Blink Dagger at one of the record timings that we do see.
He's crushing it here. A very, very nice pick, it looks to be so far.
9 class will get brought down here. But yeah, the early Blink Dagger could lead to a very early kill onto Yatoro as well, too, because we are seeing Yatoro, that pacing is there, like we were talking about. Thing about the TA comparison to the Lifestealer, you do farm that much faster, since you just have that built-in cleave, essentially, from your side blades to just jungle with. But the fact that the Sand King's going to have a Blink Dagger so early, he could just go to that lane, throw the Epicenter with the Sandstorm. Super effective tool versus that Refraction early. He's got it done already, Owen. This is pressure.
Brazen timing.
Definitely going to be on for Yatoro in this game.
That's the thing, right? For Spirit, I feel like they've got to put everything into just protecting Yatoro, making sure that he can stay on top of the net worth, because the offensive sort of moves against the Lifestealer, that option just doesn't seem to be there with the heroes they have. So they have to prioritize just making sure that Yatoro can stay ahead.
Let's see how much Not Me can do. He does have the level 3 cogs now. A lot of times when I've seen him get level 3 cogs and level 4 cogs, he dictates and he breaks a lot of moves that a team wants to do as well too. So let's see if that's going to be the case, but no one revving up the Epi.
Scary part of the map here for Team Spirit.
Tons of pressure applied onto Laurel. They do have the Stampede in order to bail out versus some of these moves, like the panel was talking about, some limited stuns and control that can be there for Vision, but Stampede right now on cooldown. No one with this type of start too. The damage might be enough with just one stun. And the shotgun, I guess we have to say too, right? There is going to always be the refresh too, so they can get that secondary stun pretty soon afterwards. This tower's dropping.
No one threatening him with the Epicenter if he sees a chance to jump.
So dangerous for Laurel to show. They're revving it up every single time. If he steps up just a bit far, they will just commit for him. Not Me will be there to deter them. Try to protect at least a bit here. He's only level 5 though. Ducalis is 7. And
no one. He's ready to go. They'll have the Cold Embrace to try and protect Not Me, but still a lot of magical damage coming out, and it just sets up for the arrow to connect. Laurel, low on the mana, tries to turn towards No One, but another stun strikes there. They'll use the curse to give space for Laurel to back away from No One and allow Yatoro to move in and take No One down.
He's got the Deso finished up. He actually did not get a Deso stack from the hit. That was a little weird. Not sure why that happened, but
very important move there from Yatoro.
He's going to
cannot afford to let Lal go down there.
He's going to be the key to watch because he does have that big advantage. Like we said, the pacing from TA compared to Lifestealer, he can turn up a lot easier. Lifestealer, when he's got the Radiance, Satanic can do a lot more. But looking at the level disparity too, they're giving Yatoro all the XP as well. He's about to be level 12. It's only 13 minutes in. Noticed? He's going to go for that drum shard build that we do like to see. Eating those Ancients, continue to get that farm. Hoping for a Black Dragon so he can get that extra farm. They're looking to punish him, but he is speedy.
It's very hard to set up onto this Doom.
And I think the next time for No One, probably going to try to save this Epicenter for a core kill. Because sure, he got the Clockwork, but ends up paying with his life.
The smoke move from Vision might catch Spirit off guard.
They want Yatoro.
9 class, no one. It's going to be there with a Burrow Strike onto the both of them. Arrow connection in onto Yatoro. He did have the Refraction up already, so a bit of protection, and the Stampede's there. Gets him away. Vortex over towards No One. Lar moves in, but he's completely out of mana. No One trying to step away. Notice, gets in, drops the Doom down onto Yatoro. Ducalis jumping up with the extra burst. Yatoro will tick out. He's going to try and bring down kills with him. Will manage to get Ducalis to die alongside him, but that is Yatoro gone. Vision bringing in the aggression around that top tier 1. They get away with it.
Really nice double stun. It looked close for a second there because he did get the Refraction off before the initial stun and actually blocked a fair bit of that damage there, but good persistence from Vision. Slow down the TA, allow the Lifestealer to catch back up.
Satanic very, very close to having that Radiance timing, and that will allow him to start closing the gap in farm between him and Yatoro.
And he can show up to fights. He's got methods of delivery, right? He's got this Sand King. He can jump inside. He can infest. He can be that gap close as well versus the TA. Laurel, standard build, is going to be going down for the Switchblade, but he is bottom of the cores already.
He's in a rough spot.
And as we said multiple times,
we've seen this before. A very difficult hero to make work right now. Well, he's got a tough time ahead.
9 class.
He's going to be able to grab him with the hook shot. Cogs connect. 9 class goes down. No one's going to jump in and try and take Rue out in return.
No one. Eating Cogs as well, too.
One of them. And that Burrow strike back up in a second though with this Arcane, who'll use it to get away from them.
3K lead at the moment here for Vision. Great moves around the map, and a lot Dakalis watching his movements and the levels that he has this early on this Mirana. Level 8 already, so he's got the good follow-up, the level 2 arrow, that extra stun, extra burst, and just max Starstorm. You're seeing the damage coming in from him. Spirit trying to react, but Cold Embrace is not going to be a save this game. So much magic damage they have that goes through it, and in fact, it's going to set up for some of these arrows potentially too. Noticed, did get the RNG. Well, I say RNG, you're gonna find the dragon most of the situations anyway. So he's got the drums, he's got the shard, he's got this built-in cleave now to increase the farm. And it's really nice to have this fireball as well too, versus the refraction, and to just farm from the sides. You don't have to show yourself in these lanes. So Vision, a clear advantage at the moment here.
I mean, Yatoro, how involved does he want to be now?
He has to be.
Blink Deso online, we're gonna see him fight.
Yep. Has to be involved. I don't think they want to keep falling behind here at this point. He is the strongest hero for his team on the map. And he does have ways to bail himself out. With the Blink Dagger now, with the Refraction, even if he gets caught by the Doom initially, can refract and blink down beforehand. And they've got Stampede to bail him out too. But right now, Vision looking to be in a very comfortable spot in this game. And as the panel talked too, they have a great scaling draft this time around as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can just look at the net worth, right? All three of their cores absolutely on track to get that scaling going. They're very happy with this opening.
Looking for the play.
No one. Will get caught by the dust, still able to break the distance over towards Not Me with the Burrow Strike Blink. Hook shot away. Oh, will allow him to actually live. They don't want to chase any further here for the Clockwork. Happy just pushing them off the tower. With the rotation actually from Ducalis and Satanic also joining here for this push, they should be able to bring this tier 1 down.
Yeah, Radiance is done. Not going to try to burn mana.
So we're going to see if they can try and find one of these supports, but Root able to fly over to the low ground. TP attempt here from Not Me will not succeed. Satanic has the damage to finish him off and keep this tier 1 tower push going.
I'm sure Satanic's sitting there like, you know what? You can burn my mana, but I've got a coddle. So whatever. Immediately comes right back afterwards and can get this pressure going. Map feels like it's going to be a bit dangerous here for Spirit in these next few moments. A lot easier ways that I'm seeing Vision able to set up these aggressive plays. While for the side of Spirit, a lot around Laurel. And as we've seen, I don't know how aggressive he really wants to get, because you can't just die in these stuns super easy.
Early days, but yeah, that 4K gold lead does loom over the heads of Team Spirit. As Yatoro, top net worth still on the TA. But he is going to have to do quite a lot this game.
Yeah. Especially because Noticed, well, all three cores, like you said, are having this great game. Noticed especially, I think this is the key one for me to look at, because he was counterpicked in the lane, and the fact that he's the top net worth for the team is a pretty big deal. This Doom is going to be very relevant in the game, and how tanky he can be in the front line too. If he's able to get to the Shivas, they're going to have some limited damage for him.
I think so much Yatoro is going to be able to do, and will of course have to get this BKB first before he gets the big damage items online.
Absolutely needs it this game versus the Sand King. If he doesn't go pretty much, yeah, this BKB is the next item, he will just continue to die every single time, so. Vision having a very nice mixed damage, multiple different cores that are having this good game. Satanic Armlet, it's done. Starting to invade the triangle as well now and prevent that extra farm from Collapse. Collapse being a bit quiet this game. He is a Centaur, so it is much more of that farmy hero we know. Gonna go down that heart build. That does mean that the Lifestealer is gonna have a very nice target to feast off of.
Bilal, still gonna be a bit of time until we see him be able to really make the moves in these team fights. He's got a lot of catching up to do.
How do they protect him, right? That's the biggest thing. Can't just die to the burst damage that comes out with just one of these stuns from the side of Vision. Not the Aghanims, it's the Aghanims already finished for no one. Dangerous moments for Spirit.
Yeah, the team fight's pretty terrifying around this Sand King. Not me. He's gonna end up walking into an epicenter. A hook shot away, but Satanic looks to be there to finish him off. Maybe the Stampede will save him. Notice is gonna try and jump forward with the fire laid down on the ground. Not Me will burn.
You can see the posturing from Spirit. They're like, as soon as they see the Sand King, they're like, we can't really fight. Epi was used now. They're seeing Notice trickle a bit deep, looking to try to punish him. Unable to.
They're trying to see if they can get some sort of catch up there. Thinking about going for Noticed.
Power Rune. Notice will be able to take it away.
Yeah, they won't want to do that now with the Amplified Damage Rune on the Doom. If anything, Noticed might be ready to just jump back in on them. He's got the Blink up. Doom's at the ready. Play it safe, though, stick to the triangle. They don't want to force anything too much here, Vision. They know that they've, starting to build this comfortable lead across the board on all 3 cores.
And getting all 3 towers very early, too, which is all important. You're playing versus a TA. You're able to limit the map, constrict where she can farm, take away her ancients as well, too. So Satanic, he just keeps walking into the triangle, stealing that farm, not letting the TA get to that area as well.
Who could do anything about him?
Not much.
Only Yatoro really can threaten this Lifestealer. The rest of Spirit, they just have to sort of watch whilst he gets this free farm, Satanic.
So for Spirit, I guess the timing, it's going to be that BKB from Yatoro and potentially just looking for that force fight, or maybe forcing an objective, because they do take these objectives very fast, either that Tormentor or the Roche. Roche, of course, more important for these teams. Collapse now does have heart, very tanky, but as I said, there is percent damage in this game. The Infernal Blade going to be very effective versus that heart. Same thing for the Lifestealer with the Feast. And again, they'll get the Shrines, so...
Not me. Tries to hook shot away, but does not make a successful connection. He'll go for the TP out. They're ready to put a stop to that. It's not me. Dead again. Same time. No one. It's gone pretty deep for this. Yatoro's going to look to fight back. Will kill no one off.
Massive kill. Laurel finally able to find him. Bottom side. Yatoro joining in. They're looking to pressure Satanic a bit here. It's hard to close for it.
Yeah, he's got the Infest if he feels pressured.
Got the Moonlight as well, too, to be able to reset. We'll be fine. No one, though, does get caught. That's a massive kill they're able to find onto him there to slow down some of that momentum that Vision is building. Still in a very comfortable spot, though. We're seeing that Storm struggle.
It's just, how do you catch back up as a Storm? Because it seems like that's something that so many teams have struggled with when they end up in this position with their Storm at the bottom of the core net worth.
Good question, Owen. Got the shield rune. This could protect him for that next upcoming fight, that little extra barrier. Vision, though. Blink unnoticed. BKB as well.
We might be ready to make an aggressive jump here.
Notice is having an insane game, Owen. Top 2 net worth still at this point. Carl.
They're going to go for him. Straight in.
Where?
Forest Strike into the arrow is all that's needed. As Lyle continues to suffer. Not Me's going to get dove here up to the tier 3 by Satanic. As he'll tick out to the burn damage.
Seeing the struggles here for Spirit. They're starting to get Blink Daggers. Okay, Collapse does have it picked up here, but limited ways for them to make these moves. Limited ways for them to respond. BKB is done for Yatoro. When they've got the 5-man up, could look to see them go for this type of fight. But again, the team fight advantage from Vision is very apparent.
And just so many ways to focus Yatoro right. When all of this net worth for Team Spirit is kind of being focused on their TA, Notice is going to be going for every single time in these fights. If they can just take Yatoro out of the fights, it's going to be quite some time until Team Spirit have some sort of team fight to match that of Team Vision in these team
and Yatoro
situations.
Talking about him, they might just go on him here.
They get the jump. And with that, the Stampede is there. He's got the BKB, so we'll be able to get away from them. Notice he's going to try and chase, but up to the tier 2 is a bit too much. Notice will have to back off. His BKB comes to an end. He'll get punished. Spirit, no. They have to be there to allow Yatoro to get out and to have a chance of finding a big kill in return, and they get it.
That's the biggest move so far here for Spirit. That's 2 massive ultimates used. Yatoro lives. They could force something here. Do they have the opportunity to go for this Roche? We'll see. The positioning isn't great for them because it is on the top side right now. So it does feel like Vision will have some time to be able to react to this, get their ultis back up.
Because this is, of course, one of the classic counters to the Doom, right? If you have that Stampede at the ready,
one of the best.
Yatoro's going to be able to run, because we talked in the draft, right, about the lack of control. It's pretty much the Sand-King. If you're not hitting the Burrow Strike into the arrow, you're going to be able to run with the Stampede.
They'll go for Tormentor. Go for the easier one since it's in a more favorable position for them at the moment. Yatoro, level 19, keeping in a decent pace, but Satanic is hot behind his trail. And the itemization, it's the same as last time from the Lifestealer. He can just go for Manta, go for AC since he's playing versus that minus armor. It's a natural build-up for Satanic. He is very far forward right now. They might look to set up for him.
I mean, obviously feels that he has ways out of this with Rage, Infest, immediate Rage there as Collapse tries to get the jump in on him. And
they chakra him as well, too, so have a Rage as well. He's
going to be fine. Yeah, straight into the Mud Golem with the Infest. He'll zoom out of there. Collapse is thinking about chasing, but it's such a hard kill to go for, especially when he's on the retreat. There's going to be time for backup to be around. You just cannot commit for this kill.
Doom gonna be coming back up in 20 seconds. Epi is back and at the ready here for No One. Gonna look for a fight again, No One. Not me.
Notice. Gonna try and make quick work of the clock.
Nice block. Back to business. Don't find the kill onto the TA earlier, but still looking to get very aggressive here with these timings.
It's back online here. Notice has the Doom.
Tier 2 to fall.
Ready for No One.
Panic able to just walk up and clean that one out. Gonna have the plate mill or the hyperstone for the next fight. Going for the setup up top, Laurel. They can't go for Satanic here.
Yeah, such a tricky kill to execute.
For the majority of this game, it's going to be that case until they do have a hard, either a silence or a hard stun onto him. The Hex, it's going to be difficult for them to bring down this Lifestealer in most situations.
Almost just requires Satanic to overcommit and dive a bit too deep, but those sort of mistakes he doesn't really make.
Noticed plate mail now picked up for him, so a lot safer. In this lead at that 5 to 6K. Spirit. In the area around this Roche. Toro gonna start committing for that MKB. Playing versus that Radiance.
That is one of the things that might be achievable even when they're behind right around Yatoro's TA. They could try and find an option to sneak into the Roshan and take it down.
Absolutely. And they have good ways to bail heroes out. You know, if these connections aren't perfect from the side of Vision, that Stampede could be just key. How's the Shivas looking for the Doom? Getting pretty close to having that one finished as well. We're probably going to see double Shivas again since both this mid and this offlaner are so good at having it for the side of Vision.
I mean, they know as well, right? As long as they can keep their armor up and eliminate the threat of Yatoro kind of 2-shot, 3-shotting them, they're going to fare pretty well in the fights for the majority of this game.
Laurel is making a decent recovery, though, Owen. I've seen a lot of these other Storms just completely falter at this point. He's getting close to having the BKB himself. Only a couple thousand behind that Sand King, so his scaling is continuing.
And in these team fights, what's Laurel's job going to sort of be here? Who's he looking to sort of commit with under the cover of the BKB and just try and disrupt the team fight playoff?
I want to say it's the Coddle that he wants to jump, but it's not easy, actually. I'm looking at the itemization here from 9 class. He's been quietly farming on the side here. He is not an easy grab. Ghost Scepter, Force, Holy Locket. It's going to be difficult for Laurel to focus fire that one, so we'll have to see. I mean, Laurel might play more of a defensive route where he just plays where wait for Vision to overcommit and then you're just defending Yatoro. We'll have to see what he does do.
Yatoro, the farm, continues to fly in very close to having the full MKB on top of the BKB, so he's going to hit hard, Yatoro.
He is, but it is a lot of pressure onto him, and it's versus that Doom. So in some of these fights, he can just get erased if he's not super careful and if they don't just use everything to bail him out. Vision having a pretty clear advantage, and as we were mentioning earlier, their scaling, it is very strong this game.
Collapse trying to do his best to keep up with the cause.
He's farming well.
And he's not too far behind, and he is going to be very, very tanky and can obviously go for this Aghanims pickup just to try and put everything into keeping Yatoro alive throughout these team fights and ideally allowing Yatoro to go for the more aggressive items after the MKB and indeed trying to get this Dragon Lance upgraded next into the Hydra's Breath. They need Yatoro to do all of the damage.
It's an interesting pickup because I think what it is he's trying to save the slot as well too, right? Because he doesn't want Pyke. Because he just wants all that hard damage versus this triple tanky core. He needs to deal the majority of it for his team.
Yeah, I mean,
I can get it.
It's just going to be much more value, right, in terms of just having damage on the TA. He could pretty much rely on Rue and Not Me to pick up the 4 staffs. They're both queuing them up. So you're going to have that positioning coming in from your supports. You can trust in them. And as the carry, you can afford to go all in on the offensive build.
9 class. They set up for the kill here. Not Me. We'll just get right on top of him. Ghost Scepter's there, but the nice hits onto the side.
I mean, he's making them work for it. Backup's coming in, and notice he's ready to jump over to Not Me.
I think 9 class is going to be a massive issue this game. He's super farmed, and jumping him and getting him in the backlines, it just seems very difficult for this team. If he's able to get to the point where he has a Hex too, that's where Laurel and Yatoro are in jeopardy, because as we said, the catch for Vision a little lacking.
I mean, that's
get a Hex.
And he's well on the way to.
He's very
He's
close.
got 2,800 gold, ready to start building towards that Hex. That pickup's going to be a nightmare for Spirit to deal with.
Yeah, I'm feeling some scare for Spirit in these next 5-10 minutes or so. Let's see what they can get around Yatoro with this MKB timing. BKB also finished for Laurel. They'll find it. Get some time since they found a pickoff.
0-1. He's thinking about making a jump. I mean, him and Notice could take someone out of the fight pretty easily. Hard to do, though, if they don't make the jump onto Collapse when the Stampede's up, as we've seen before.
They also don't want to mess up the move here, because if they do mess up a big team fight ultimate, it could just be Roshan for Spirit. So they do have to be very connected when they do get that connection from no one to have the arrow follow up. And without the Mirana, I don't think they'll go for it. Very tense moments here in this game.
Toro has to play this perfect.
He does. I feel like the maximum deaths he can really have in this game is like 2, max 3, because otherwise this lifesteal is just going to be able to catch up, outpace, and just have that nice matchup versus him where they have all this gap close. Vision, AC is done. Extra little small armor items also for no one. How's 9 Class's Hex? Getting closer and closer. Toro, how's he getting toward that Aghanim?
He's getting close.
He's getting close. All about protecting Yatoro.
Yeah, Collapse. Once he has that, as long as he's not getting jumped, and honestly, for the most part, he probably won't be, unless they sort of, because they don't really have easy ways to find and sort of control the Centaur right at the start of a team fight. Collapse, he's always going to be able to press Stampede in these team fights.
He could die to the overall like AoE damage that comes in that sometimes happens
he's so
during
tanky.
it, but he is very tanky currently at this point, so it might be difficult for them to just break right through it, but they do have percent damage on it, so that Infernal Blade, Lifesteal hitting him, it'll build up very quickly.
I mean, maybe that's the thing. Is that actually who Notice is going to be looking for the most in these fights as this Doom? Are you trying to jump the Centaur to stop those sort of saves coming in with the Ags, with the Stampede?
I think he'll save the Doom probably for one of the other core 2 targets, but just hitting the other one's going to be very successful. The Roche, it's dropping.
I mean, they used the Stampede aggressively. Hook shot in from Not Me. Indeed, they'll be able to finish that Roche. Team Spirit not able to make any sort of jump into the pit. Not Me gets caught outside of it, so Vision, they'll get a kill, they'll get the Roche, they've got the Aegis ready to play with for the next 5 minutes on Satanic.
And you deny the Roche away from a TA, a hero that wants to play with that Aegis advantage in this type of matchup. Very heads-up move from Vision.
They're running straight towards the Toro.
Away. This feels like a hard one for Yatoro to carry. It's not the similar one where he's this super late game carry that has the edge over the opposing carry. The Lifestealer matchup, when he's on even footing, it's very good. You want to be quite ahead on the TA when you're playing in this matchup.
Very, very difficult times here for Yatoro.
Yeah, Satanic is fully caught up, not dying at all in this game, having that lane freedom as well. Jump forward, Notice.
Rue, he's not going to be getting away from this.
Very dead.
Vision, super easy for them to make these pickoffs. Both supports gone. Nobody can really come anywhere close to Vision right now.
This might be the roughest game we've seen from the Clockwork from Not Me. He's got 10 deaths, unable to find connections with this hero.
He's going to try and jump in. No one was thinking about going back in on this with the Epicenter. He won't for now. Collapse backs off with the Axe.
Collis forcing the lane as well.
They've got so much time to apply this pressure here, Vision, with the 3 minutes of Aegis. Onto the tier 3 top, though. Get the fortification out of Spirit.
9 Class, the Hex, it's 80 gold away. I don't know if they're going to expect... I mean, they see the items that he has, so they're going to have to...
But it's going to be brutal. It's, what do you do against this Hex on the Cole? 9 Class, he's always going to find the way to catch you.
Might be able to just pop some of these heroes before they get the BKB off, potentially. No one will be able to find an amp damage as well. Shivas is about to finish for him.
They're going to try and do something. It's into the Aegis. It's a risk, but they feel desperate right now.
They've got the Ags from Collapse, so eyes on him to get that workhorse onto Yatoro if he does get focused onto.
At the same time, Team Vision, they've got the Moonlight up. Sneaking around the map themselves. Getting up to the high ground here, Satanic will show. So Spirit have a decent amount of information, but can they actually fight this despite the gold deficit that they're at?
Can they access the backline? Do they see 9 Class? They get on him.
He's going to try and get the jump in straight away. They look towards 9 Class, see if they can take him out. The curse comes out, locking the 3 of them down. No one's able to get the BKB off. 9 Class, he's healed up by the Infest. Satanic keeps the call alive. Vision, they won't lose anyone to that attempt there from Spirit.
And now Satanic, he's on Yatoro.
Toro has any sort of help to get him out of this. The Stampede's already been used. try and run, but the BKB's about to come to an end. They've got a force hit from Rue to try and save Yatoro. Satanic's going to still chase on. No one catches Not Me here in the river with Ducalis. The workhorse is there. Collapse under the tier 2, but Satanic, he's going to dive on forward. Collapse will go for the TP out, gets out just in time before Notice comes in with the tendrils.
They try for a desperate move. They find the backline, but there's so much healing. Gets the Infest off onto him. They get the extra bailout as well, too, when he gets the Holy Locket. Look at that heal.
I mean, it's one of those situations, right, where you want to kill the Kotl, but at the same time, it's just so hard to take 9 Class out at the start of the fight, even if you're getting the jump on him.
BKB was used there from Laurel and Yatoro. Don't have it for the defense now. Still an Aegis on Satanic onto this high ground.
Can they push him back? The tier 3 is gone.
Cheeky little purge.
Collapse. They're going to try and see what he can find at the side. They get the Vortex on the one Satanic. The damage coming in for Yatoro. He's going to be fine. Gets in with the Infest. They do catch him with the Sun on the way out, though. That's him gone the once. Spirit, can they set up to take him down a second time? Hook shots there. Into the damage. They bring him down low. He's able to put the Manta running away with the Moonlight, but they've got him. They take out Satanic.
And they chase for more.
They need to try and find more from the Spirit. An opportunity presents itself. They cannot let it slip away. Zip 4 from Lyle. Look at the 9 Class. He's got the Ghost Scepter. Doesn't matter. Hustov, Vortex. They've got the control. They'll take the Kotl down.
Ooh, they punished some of this greed from Satanic. He felt like he was unkillable, but his team started to split away. He didn't have all that backup. Great opportunity seized there from Spirit.
A big defense there. They lose the tier 3, but the barracks, they'll be protected. Spirit having a chance now to play out onto the map. A good window as well. 50 seconds almost here without 9 Class or Satanic in play.
Hit the high ground a bit.
Yatoro's tempted. I mean, he hits hard.
Very hard.
See how much Spirit can do. They lost the tier 3. If they're able to take the same, maybe even more.
That was an insane moment for Spirit, too, because now you're seeing Yatoro potentially is going to have that item advantage versus the Life Stealer to be able to beat on him, too. Tower dropping. Connection on the side.
They get the hook shot. They're going to be able to catch Ducalis outside of the base.
Dude, Marl.
Another one here for Spirit.
Marl is getting the connections here with the Vortexes. 6-2 and 4 now.
Despite the deficit that he's at, I mean, he's still at a point where he's got more farm than no one on the Sand King now, and he's making more plays. They'll get the jump onto Yatoro. Collapse. He's in with the save, though. Bails Yatoro out, and will be able to take him away from the Doom.
They bought back on Ducalis as well, too. If Spirit's able to disengage.
It's a full retreat. Everybody's getting out alive on Spirit.
Oh, the spell casting from Spirit. Absolutely beautiful. Winter's Curse to disengage. They know what primary target number 1 is. It's Yatoro. Just make sure that he's protected, and he can potentially still do it in this game. Swift Blink getting pretty close.
I mean, he's got the money.
Yep, he's got that 3,500 advantage. He's got that full item now with Satanic.
Do you spend up for the Swift Blink, or do you hold for buyback?
I think he's buying. I don't think this is a game where you can hold your gold. I think you want to be playing with that advantage with gold immediately.
I mean, I like it, and just full trust in Collapse to be there with these saves. Keep Yatoro protected at all costs.
They've slowed down quite a lot of that momentum from Vision. Though they were able to deny that Aegis away from the side of the TA, they ended up denying the Aegis away from Satanic from him getting too much out of it afterwards. Spirit, level 25 now has been hit. This 25 talent is pretty busted 0-2. Any game is winnable when you do have this talent this early. That meld hit bash could trip Satanic up massively.
They absolutely can. Suddenly, the rage is not enough to keep you safe, and you're not always able to get that quick jump in with the Infest if that bit of an interrupt comes in through the bash.
Laurel, Conjurer's Catalyst now for him too. His scaling is increasing.
They find no one here out in the map.
Oh, that would be
his way back to the mid, but they're going to see him. Not me, able to get him with the hooks on the country down and put the BKB, try and get away from this with the Burrow strike. Curse him there to hold him in position. Yatoro closing in upon him here with the stampede jump. They bring no one down. June's going to get dropped on towards Collapse. Hex is there on Yatoro. He's been surrounded by Satanic and Notice. He'll try and get away with the BKB, but he will fall. Vision can take Yatoro down this time.
And the Doom
is going to continue to run. He's going to tick pretty low. I think he's dead. Oh, the last hit gets him. Notice.
You had said before, do you actually Doom the Centaur? I think you actually do Doom the Centaur. Seeing that positioning there, Yatoro is very aggressively postured. They Doom the Centaur. He can't bail him out when he overextends.
I mean, absolutely right. You take him away from the fight, and suddenly Yatoro is left vulnerable. And again, spent up for the Swift Blink. 70 seconds, no Yatoro here for the hold. Vision, they might not have no one, but they have the damage here with Satanic at the front to try and take a lot away from Spirit.
They chase so far for that kill. They do get punished this time. The rack's now exposed.
The mid rack's gone for sure. Tier 2s are already completely gone, so the other lanes are open as well for Vision.
They're going to stick around, at least until the TA does start to come back, because they have 40 seconds without these 2 cores.
I mean, yeah, just without Yatoro, they have nowhere near enough damage to threaten Satanic at all as this Lifestealer.
I don't know.
Up to the top lane.
I don't think that's
30 seconds still. Now Yatoro. No one back in play, is ready to TP over to join the rest of the team. Notice he's in with the jump to get the catch on, and not me's in trouble. The nullifier thrown down on towards him. Will try and use the hook shot to get away. Cold Embrace out of force. We're separated from Satanic, but Satanic, he wants to keep pushing for the kill. Wants Samantha to tank some of the battery assault. He might just die here to the damage of the illusions. They'll get him back to the fountain. But Vision just pushing Spirit away from the barracks. They'll respect the fact that Yatoro is coming back into action, though. They won't overstay their welcome. Vision, they'll fall back.
Satanic pressing forward here with that Lifestealer. Now back in that even net worth, has this item as well too coming out for him. We'll see it again, that last tick. Literally the last one, and it overkills him by 4 damage, if I'm not mistaken there. He was ticking for 66 per tick. Vision potentially looking to close it out if they get a big catch here.
They know very likely, right, from that last play, that buyback is not an option for Yatoro, and he's still 500 gold short of it.
Okay.
So they know there's a high likelihood that because he spent up and didn't have to buy back for that defense, that he's still in this situation where if they kill Yatoro, the game's going to be over, and we're going to be going to a game 5.
Laurel has a Linken's to be able to block.
Notice this jump. It's going to make the jump. They find Not Me first. Same time, Takalis is trying to look towards the back line. They've surrounded Yatoro, but there's the save. Collapse comes in. He's got to get him out of here. The curse will hold back no one to notice. They'll take Yatoro back up to the safety of the high ground.
Nice side blades there onto no one. Did use the BKB during the war curse, and can't actually attack during it this time. It has to just run away, so it's a defensive bailout from Spirit. They can't get any type of aggressive potential out of it there, and there's still a Doom available. Notice does have it at the ready.
Do they try and strike again?
Oh, I like this from no one too. Goes for the Basher after the Shivas, that extra bit of control that could potentially clip the TA, or even the Centaur, right? Like when he's trying to bail him out, it might hit him with the Bash if he gets lucky. It's all eyes on Yatoro and Collapse.
Ulal. Yatoro. Collapse is going to go in aggressive on a Notice. Notice sets forward the catch him with the Hoostomp. He'll get the BKB off Notice. He's going to run. They try and drop the dude down with the Lincolns in there. Cold Embrace keeps Lyle safe. He'll be fine for now. Satanic is going to push on towards Yatoro. Yatoro getting forced back to safety. He'll be able to get out with the blink. But Collapse, he'll suffer for this, ticking down to the Doom. He's gone for 80. And Satanic, he knows without the Centaur to be around to save anyone, he can get back on the aggression.
Laurel has no BKB, or sorry, Yatoro has no BKB for 20 seconds. Oh, force aggressive.
X to the force. Satanic, he's stepping up. No one's in with the burst strike on the board for the net take Ruat. They've got the stop control onto Yatoro. He's gone. He's got the buyback gold available here. He'll use it straight away, Yatoro. But Vision, they're taking them down one by one inside the base. They'll look to Satanic, but he's able to back up, continue the push onto the barracks. Spirit, they've got to try and hold here with just the 2 of them. Vision.
2v5 with an epicenter available.
They're ready to go for the mega creeps. No one. He's ready to go for the kill. He's challenging up the epicenter. He's in with the jump. They get the opening on towards Lyle. They've got the lockdown. Lyle to fall. He's out of the buyback. They're onto the tier 4s here, Vision.
Oh, and I think we're blessed with that game 5.
I think we might be. And the tier 4s are going down. Yatoro's going to try one final stand here on his own, but the entirety of his team are gone. The Burrow strikes there, catching him after the BKB into the arrow. GG's called. We're going to a game 5 here in the International Grand Finals as Team Vision coming with some beautiful moves here in this game 4. And my goodness, it was just too much for Spirit. Spirit, we saw them coming with a pretty good strike back around these saves from Collapse, but you saw the adaptation from Vision. suddenly Collapse's priority in this fight, it jumped up tenfold. Get rid of the Centaur, stop him getting these saves, and with that, they're able to take them down and force a game fivefold.
They're forcing reactions from Spirit over and over again, and for Spirit, it's too much for them to deal with, bailing Yatoro out. Even though Laurel, we mentioned, he was making some of this recovery, but you can see the world of difference in comparison of him and the Sand no one. He's just a deterrent. He's forcing a lot of reactions, while the other two cores, they're hard carry. Noticed. What a hell of a game from him on this Doom. Starting it out with the first blood somehow, and then ending 9-1-11.
He played ridiculous.
Amazing.
Ridiculous stuff across the board there from Team Vision. We are seeing an absolutely beautiful display of Dota here in the grand finals, and we're getting a game 5, 2-2 now, between Vision and Spirit.